Thank you. Now, please join us in singing our national anthem as led by Danvers High School sophomore, Miss Megan Moriarty.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Megan. I will now turn the ceremony over to Major Bill Frank, our Commander, Civil Air Patrol.
Thank you, Joe. We are gathered here today at this memorial site and memorial sites all across America to remember that we are one nation with one flag. We are proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of people, many races, from many walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying here before us and in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom without fear. We can worship as we see fit. We can raise our children to believe as we do. We can travel from one end of this great nation to the other and not have to ask permission to go. We are free to vote for whoever we feel should be in government office, and we answer to no one but our own feelings. We have the right to succeed. We have the right to fail at whatever endeavor we wish to pursue. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall remember. Today, many of you here are veterans of wars and conflicts that America has had to fight to protect the innocent and oppressed. America has always been the first nation to stand up for freedom of people from around the world. Many of you here today have answered the call and served your country well. We are here today to say thank you, and we are honored to know you. There are many men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here at home and in places far away that most of us have never heard of. These men and women are part of the best trained, best equipped force in the world. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice that plague the world community. When you see a veteran or active duty member of the armed services, take a moment to say thank you. We owe them our way of life, and a moment of your time is well spent. Quoting our 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan, quote, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction." We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. End of quote. Today we show a united front of national unity all across the United States of America. As we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. And now we're going to have representatives for each branch of the service come up and lay a wreath. Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Warby, please come forward and accept the wreath for the United States Army. Will Corporal Ray Jalbert come forward and accept the wreath for the United States Marine Corps? Will Fire Control Technician, 2nd Class, Mark McDermott, please come forward, accept the wreath for the United States Navy. Will Colonel Richard Moody, please come forward, accept the wreath for the United States Air Force. Will Stephen Peter Morandi please come forward and accept the wreath for the United States Coast Guard. Will Mass Maritime Cadet Brett Donovan please come forward and accept the wreath for the United States Merchant Marines. And will Chief Petty Officer Jim Simon please come forward and accept the wreath for the prisoners of war and missing in action.
Color guards, bring yourselves to order honors. Thank you all for being here on this very special occasion to remember our deceased brothers and sisters who rest here at Walnut Grove. The wreaths before you represent our commitment as a united America to remember the fallen. We also want these remembrance wreaths to symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving in the armed forces of our great nation, and to their families who endure sacrifices every day on our behalf. To our children, we want you to understand the freedoms you enjoy today have not been free, but have come with a cost that someday you may have to pay yourself. As a nation standing together, we can defeat terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedoms to do just that. At this time, I would like to pay respect to some individuals who were honored with memorials during this year's wreath campaign. Honor guard. Attention. Present arms. John McLaughlin, United States Army. John Roche Jr., local police. Michael Nardella, United States Army. Dominic Coviello, United States Army. Thomas Kasecki Sr., United States Navy. Donald Mossman. Robert Bartlett, United States Army. What are arms? Much work has gone into acquiring the wreaths we'll be laying today, as well as in the planning and execution of today's ceremony. So I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank some very special people. First, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Lyons, Civil Air Patrol, for helping us get this idea started and selecting me for this job. He also provided his home as the delivery point for our wreaths and worked with Lieutenant Bob Preck and I to take delivery this past Thursday. Thank you, sir. Lieutenant Colonel Richard Moody, United States Air Force retired, for all his work and energy obtaining donors and helping with everything leading up to this event. Mr. Peter Morandi, Director of Veterans Affairs for the town of Danvers, for helping acquire sponsors and helping logistically to supply us with this sound system and many other aspects of today's ceremony. Major William Frank, Civil Air Patrol, our new squadron commander, for volunteering to MC today's ceremony. For all of our volunteers for being here today to lay each of our ceremonial wreaths representing the branches of service and prisoners of war. Miss Mary Nelson Anastasio, for her timeless efforts reaching out to obtain wreath sponsors, as well as our very first corporate sponsor, leading up to the Star Gas Partners, known as Atlas Glenmore and Petro Oil, who became our first corporate sponsor and is well represented here today with volunteers. Shout out to Mary Anastasio, Bruce Pace, and Steve Goldman. Thank you all for everything you have done. The Knights of Columbus, Operation Troop Support, the Danvers VFW, the Danvers Overseas Veterans Association, the Danvers American Legion, for stepping up early in our campaign for wreaths and for being here today. These organizations already do so much for so many, and to have them reach out to help us too is nothing short of phenomenal. All of our many individual sponsors, some of whom purchased multiple wreaths, especially to the Brownies of Girl Scout Troop 89180 in Danvers, who collected cans so they could purchase wreaths for our veterans today. Thank you. To our soloists, Megan Moriarty, a sophomore from Danvers High School. Great job. There you are. Our Civil Air Patrol cadets and senior members from the Beverly Composite Squadron, who have helped out with parking, lifting, selling wreaths, and doing anything we ask them to do. Also, Colonel John Flaherty, our wing commander, is present. Colonel Flaherty. Welcome, sir. I'm not sure where you are. Okay. Are there any other groups here today that we did not do a shout out to? Danvers Boy Scouts. Danvers Boy Scouts, I understand there are several troops represented here today. Thank you for being here. Last but not least, all of you. Because without you, this day would not be what it is. Give yourselves some applause. Thank you. So as we draw this ceremony to a close, I want you all to remember why we are here. We are here to remember the veterans who are buried here, honor their service to this great country, and teach our children the meaning and value of service, honor, and courage. Many of the veterans resting here traveled as young men and women to far off and distant lands. They're oftentimes hostile and many times into situations too horrible for them to even speak of. Laying here may be the only peace they have ever known. While we lay each wreath, please take a moment to thank each veteran by name or a salute if you see fit. So as we disperse to lay our collection of wreaths, know this: you are not walking alone. There are 722 souls walking with you today, and they are smiling. Thank you for coming. We will now conclude today's ceremony with the flag of taps by Cadet Senior Airman John Anastasio, followed by the retreat of colors.